Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. I'm going to share with you perspective from one of the XRP chart analysts that I follow who is warning that XRP, from where it's at right now, could drop about 30%. Now, I'm sharing this information and creating this video not to scare anybody, actually to the contrary, just kind of warn people because, look, as I frequently say, when it comes to investing, we humans are our own worst enemies because when something happens and you're caught off guard, you don't expect it, you don't know why it's happening, that can result in feelings of fear. But if you're aware that something like this can happen, then if it happens, and it's not a guarantee, but if it happens, you'll be better armed to handle it. And I'll tell you this also at the outset to hopefully to alleviate any concerns if you were feeling any. This is not the base case that this analyst has. He's just warning and genuinely believes there's an actual possibility of this. But his base case is that we're, probably the lows are actually in, more or less. And at the time I'm recording this, XRP is around like $2.20 just for frame of reference here. So it could drop quite a bit. That would be a pretty damn big drop. What are you talking about then? Somewhere in the neighborhood of close to 80 cents, maybe I guess a little bit less, but 75 cents, something like that. Yeah, that would scare the hell out of people. Now, if that happens, I won't be the least bit freaked out because it doesn't matter. And it's not the most likely outcome according to multiple analysts that I follow. But it could happen. In fact, this analyst, he's he's an XRP bull, and he actually called the breakout that we ended up having in November, and he does think we go way, way, way higher. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Now, I shared this in a video 1 or 2 days ago. It's a post from Charting Guy from 2 days ago. And he's talking about XRP. And he wrote, "What a bounce for XRP off the lows today, right at the key level," I said. "If we are truly following 2017, then today was the low. We likely chop another week, then continue the uptrend next weekend, hitting new all-time highs in January." And so he thinks that there's a reasonable chance this actually could be the low. And he's not the only one. Chart analyst Dom here shared this post, and so there's two charts. There's one on the left here, XRP USD chart, and then on the right you've got XRP priced against Bitcoin. And he wrote this: "Both the USD and Bitcoin pairing have held the 20-day exponential moving average perfectly this entire run up. Both have shown immense strength compared to the market and printed large daily wicks today. That should be the low for XRP, as if we go lower, I think we drop 30%. Now, he posted that 2 days ago. So it's not his base case. He does think that the low's in, but he's warning. And so since this would be a rather substantial drop, I wanted to make a quick video just to warn you in case it happens. It doesn't mean the sky is falling, and this is very normal even in bull runs. XRP has had massive pullbacks in each of the last 2 market cycles after it rocketed upwards. I mean, you can think about when in 2017, XRP went from about half a penny to very quickly up to like 42 cents or so. And then, not long after that, in the coming months, it got how low? I can't remember if it got down to like 11 cents again, but certainly at moments it was below 20 cents. And so it lost like half of its value in relatively short order, moved sideways, but then it ended up doing another blast off to the top, obviously, as you well know, and almost hit $4. So it's not the end of the world if you see pullbacks. It's just normal in crypto. But anyway, so here's what he had to say about this. So this was his longer post kind of breaking down why he thinks this could happen, even if it's not his base case, effectively. So here's what he had to say. XRP time value analysis. Expanding on the idea that if that wasn't the local low for XRP, we likely drop 30% from here. When an asset rapidly reprices, it doesn't have time to create value or foundation through the price levels and often leaves gaps of low volume or liquidity voids. Excuse me. This can be visualized using profiles as shown here. So you have to look at the screen if you're not to see what he's talking about. But he's got key levels represented on the screen on this chart. And then he says, XRP had a small consolidation around $1.90, which was the previous cycle high, and created a few larger volume nodes at that level. And so I'll pause and note, depending on where you're pulling your data, you're going to see different all-time highs. Even cycle. Let's talk about the cycle high. Actually, I'm going to make a video relatively soon. I'm planning on it anyway to talk about what the real all-time high is for XRP because it's disputed, actually. But anyway, as far as the cycle high, it depends on where you pull the data from. So like I shared screen grabs of XRP price at $2 during the last cycle. So it happened on certain platforms, And I pulled that data from Live Coin Watch, which just aggregates price basically. So that means that it was undoubtedly, of course, if it's showing $2, that means it was pulling price action that was lower than $2 and some that was higher than $2, and it basically averaged out to exactly $2. And so anyway, that's why anybody's curious. That's why I mentioned that he's saying it was $1.90. That's why he's not wrong. It just depends on where he pulls the data from, and you can dispute it. Which exchange, because all exchanges would have peaked technically at different levels, even if slightly. And then you could ask, well, which one's the one that counts? And if you want to, you could say whichever one is the highest price. But then we're kind of getting to this territory where we're splitting hairs is all. It doesn't really matter. It's about the same regardless. Anyway, it continues though. This is why that level has given us a bounce twice already, which, however, makes it weaker if we were to visit it again. All eyes are on Bitcoin here, as if Bitcoin loses that $95,000 range, we enter very bearish territory and have potential for new lows across the board. I want to believe that's not the case, as it would put us into a much larger correction phase, in my opinion. Okay, so I'll pause and note here. If that happens, it's not that something's broken or wrong with XRP, and it's plausible, like this could happen. It's probably going to be led by Bitcoin, and without Bitcoin crashing notably lower, XRP is probably not going to do it. Anyway, then he says, now that would likely pull XRP back down near that $1.90 range, which, as I said, has become weaker due to the strong bounces it already produced. Using profiles, we can see there is air until the $1.60 area. And so that's the reason that he's sharing these levels. And anytime an analyst is talking about a support level or a resistance level, that's just where buy and sell orders tend to build up effectively. And so if you're talking about a support level, it means that there are tons of people where if it goes that low, and there'll be a lot of people freaking out and selling, but there's also going to be on the other side of those transactions tons of people who are like, y'all fools, this XRP's on sale. I want it at these lower prices, and then it gets hard to break through that. So anyway, that's the reason that he's got these specific levels. It's just, humans happen to have expectations, and then it typically lines up where fib levels are. But anyway, so he says, so XRP losing $1.90 very likely sends us right to that $1.60 area, as there is a lack of liquidity in between. If this does happen, I think we have to prepare for a much different scenario going into next year, and all previous fractals would be broken. We would enter uncharted territory. If XRP were to be going higher after this, it would likely not be for at least a month or two. Oh no! How am I going to wait a month or two? Bitch, I've been here over 7 years. Even if it comes to that, I will wait however long it takes, because my bet is binary. Either I'm wrong and XRP goes to zero at some unknown point of the future, or I'm right and XRP hits a new all-time high and enters price discovery. One of those things is going to happen, and I hold on until one of those things happens. That's that. So yeah, if I have to wait another couple months, not exactly the end of the world. It'll fly by. Anyway, then he says, whatever happens here, I think it will largely shape how the next few months look. As for upside, $2.40 is the level needed to regain to be back into full bullish territory. If it happens, I think XRP would be heading for new highs very soon after. And so there you go. It's not that scary. It's not the end of the world. I just wanted to put it out there because I know how people react when scary price action happens. I mean, twice recently, XRP did get down to whatever, close to $1.90. One time, I guess it got down to what, $1.96, 97, if memory serves. Stuff like that happens. So it could occur. And then in this post, Dom wrote, as far as Bitcoin goes, 95,000 is where volume nodes fall off the cliff and the election VWAP sits. It makes sense for the pullback to this range, but nothing much lower. This is an important level to be holding, as any acceptance below likely opens a much larger time frame correction. So let's hope it doesn't happen. But if it does, again, it's not the end of the world. We're in a bull market. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.